Welcome back, everyone.
We are back. Welcome back. Virtual Azure Community Day. We are on I don't even know what hour we're up to, and I haven't even been up as long as Floor has. But we are on to our next presentation, and this one's a special one because we've got two presenters. In the middle of your screen right now, you can see Deji, and Deji is going to be joining us in a moment on audio only, I believe, but they've got an awesome presentation for us around Azure Search and Power BI and how you can use those two tools to bring visibility and custom analysis to your application. So I will not keep you too much longer. I will throw over to these guys for their awesome presentation. There you go, fellas.
Yeah, thank you very much, JT. So once again,
your name right.
I am with Sheyi Oluwaseyi. So Sheyi, hi, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here, and
so what we're actually looking at today is very, very interesting topic: extending search capability using Azure Search and Power BI. And we're actually trying to do a great work, trying to extract using indexes, and lot of things around Azure Search. And we want to do a wonderful visualization with deep insight with Power BI. So I would like Sheyi to introduce himself formally. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are hearing me from. My name is Oluwaseyi all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm the CEO and MD of Covenant Technology. I'm on MVP on Office 7 and apps. And also I'm a certified trainer. I'm the MCT regional lead for Nigeria. Now I have a combined experience in terms of training, consulting, and international speaking for 19 years. Deji, over to you. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you very much. I am Ayodeji from Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm the CEO Jari Computer Solution. I'm an MVP on data platform. So I'm a micro certified trainer, and I'm a BI developer, IT consultant, and a data evangelist. Thank you very much, Sheyi. You can move on.
Okay, so this morning we're going to look at as Deji has introduced the topic, but in the agenda, what is our goal for today? We're going to look a brief intro into search, Azure Search, which is now cognitive search on Azure platform. We're going to look at different scenarios, and we're going to use Azure Search. How does it work in terms of indexing, cracking those documents, and being able to visualize information from it? So we're going to create, just create a search application, and we're going to do a demo on how we are going to extract this content and have a deeper dive using Power BI. So one thing about technology I've seen in the recent time, and my experience with Azure, with other applications, is that people experience matter most. And the days when technology started and the search engine generally started, where you just go on a browser, whether it's a Bing browser, you put the information you need there, and information will trickle out, and you can drill down that information to the query you have created and to the content you want, and you can extract those information to leverage on the information and the things you want to do. So the leverage here is that people and technology has gone way back. People need technology to work, and technology need people to be embraced with the proper tool to make it to work. So today, several things is happening, especially in technology space. In days back, when we have issue with certain automobile development, and which causes so many constraint to the car industry, especially when snow is on and people cannot walk or drive through the snow. There was a lady then that saw a problem, just like the people and the tool bringing them together. The woman was Elizabeth Anderson. She saw there was an issue with the people, with the car industry, and the experience of the people there was awkward. Every car that drives through the snow needs to come out to drive the windscreen. She came up with a development, a tool that was a remarkable tool that changed the face of automobile, and that tool was a windscreen. So little it is, but it was a problem then, and she was able to solve it. In the real sense too, when do we want to look for something? When you need something, where do you go? In our days, where we have huge data everywhere, both structured and unstructured data, there come a time in the people, especially in technology space, where we can actually drill down to our information, have a very intelligent solution that can give us the key phrase and can direct us to the right information at the right time. I was watching a video of, I did consulting some time ago for a big hospital, and I noticed something when it comes to information tracking, knowledge mining, ability to search through your content, an archive that is over 10 years. How do you know? How do you drill down? And that is the question this morning. When you need something, where do you go? So many people need several things to map up the way they actually search. One, how is the performance? And that is what people look at. When you are searching for content, when you are searching for document, when you are searching for information, how is the performance of the system? Does it good? Is the GR very fine? Is it smooth? Is it very rugged in terms of how rugged this content, this engine is in order to bring your information right at your doorstep? And that is what Microsoft Search is all about. And Microsoft Search now is running on the cognitive services, which is now embedded into the framework. And that gives it the ability to be smooth, the ability to GI you properly, and the ability to have a very solid and rugged base in order to bring content right to the doorstep of the people searching for it. So when you type, most of the search engine, you type what you want, you are able to have the key phrase, the content arranged, and the diagram that is arranged properly in order to synchronize those information. But in our demo this morning, because what we just want to showcase is that irrespective of the content you have, you can just drill down to this content, whether structured or unstructured, crack this content and push it on Azure Search, Azure Community Search, and it will drill down those information, arrange your content, and bring the keywords out. And that's what we're going to showcase, the ability. But drilling down into a proper structure and custom base, we might not be able to do that this morning, but we're going to showcase what Azure Search can do. Then another thing is, how do we sort things? How does it do the spelling mistake? Is he able to ping and page those information properly? When you have cross-platform search, how does it drill down those search and gives you the right content at the right time? It brings us to Microsoft Azure Search, which is now cognitive search, which is embedded with AI, is a service that Microsoft is providing in order to mitigate against this issue that we have, that we spend much time on drilling down to content. We spend more time in trying to articulate the information we want. We spend more time in trying to drill down to the right content at the right time. Because in our day, we can see for the past 4 months what has happened. Just a disease, the pandemic, it stopped the face of the world for 4 months. It stopped every nation. And this is now bringing us into a new era where we need an agile solution, a solution that can bring us and determine where we are going at the right time. The time wasting has gone in the past. Now it's agility. Something smooth, something rugged, something that can hit the target. So there are several scenarios that search engine can help you with. It can help you these are things I just drilled down here. The online retail, the e-commerce, and even when you have social content, your line of application, bring back to the contents of enterprises, SMB, small businesses, enterprise companies where you have large database. You can actually use Azure Search to drill down those information, draw in content into your establishment, and be able to infer good influence in terms of what you want at the right time and the right place. So using Azure Search, you first provision the service through the Azure portal. When you provision the service, you index it. Now, the indexing is the ability to bring the content into a wheel that can be driven. Then after you have indexed it, there's another indexer, the carriage, the car that can carry it. Then it takes you to the search. Then you can now tune the results. But in the real sense, cognitive service is not just about getting the content out to search, but it is an embedment of so many deliverables that have been integrated into a solution. One, you have the source of your data. When the source of your data, whether it is structured, like the one we're going to use here, which is unstructured, which is something we just pick on the Facebook, on Google, on Bing, or any other search engine, and we uploaded this content into Azure Search. When it gets to the Azure Search, it will be cracked. What is the cracking methodology? Ability to bring the ingested data and try to bring it out into space sets, into information. Then after it has been brought out, it will be indexed. And when is it indexed, it will throw into what we call an extendable enrichment into the pipeline. And that's why the cognitive skill comes in. The cognitive skill is running on the AI platform of Microsoft AI, where you can actually drill down into some services that can help in terms of the facial recognition, in terms of the audio, in terms of translation of content. All this thing is embedded and is enriching the experience. Now, when I started, I established the fact that every scenario in terms of technology depends on the people and the leverage of the tools they are using. And when there is a balance, there is always a way where the experience can be expatiated, can be overwhelming. But when the experience is cut, like the other search engine we have been seeing in the past, with the cognitive search, you can extend this into what? Analytics, where you can actually retrieve data, drill down into this data, and bring out what we call intelligent information. And that's where we are going this morning. So when you try to index, you have the custom rest, where all those information you have indexed can actually be extended in terms into several other buckets. You can index also from different storage, from different services like SQL database, like the Azure Document DB. And the one we are using for our presentation is the Azure Block Storage. So document, any format, whether it's PDF, whether it's an Office document, whether an HTML, as long as those documents is ingested into Azure Cognitive Service, it can be extracted. So I will quickly try and go into the demo. So here, the first thing we need to do is to log into our Azure service. You have your username. This is my home. I've logged into my account because of the time, and we're going to follow this sequence. The first thing we need to do is to create what we call an Azure storage account. Now, the essence of the storage account is to be able to have what we call where we are going to store those documents. How do we create this? Just follow me. You go to, when you are logging with your user account, you must make sure that you have an Azure subscription. Now, the subscription helps the Azure platform to determine the access you can have on the Azure portal. So I've logged into my portal because of time. Now I create a resource. Now, when you click create a resource, it drills you down to the new resource you can get. It has been categorized. You can see from the Azure Marketplace, you can go into 2 categories. In the left-hand side, it gives you at least a summary of the group. On the right-hand side, it gives the popular apps that they, but for us, we want to create an Azure storage. So you click storage, Azure storage. You just, in order to drill down, it gives you storage accounts. Let me try storage accounts. Okay. Instantly, it takes you to the storage account. You click on create. Now, you must look at the plan in order to know what assets you can get and how much you can buy it. And I'll just go to overview. I click on create. Then here, it takes you down to the basic of creating this storage account. Now, the first thing you see, it tells you what kind of subscription you have. You drill down to the subscription. I have 2. I'm going to use my MSN at the end. Then you create a resource group. Now, if you don't have a resource group, you have to create one. A resource group where you group all your items that is attached to your Azure provision or service you're about to run. Now, I have learn resource group I've created. I click on it. Then it tells me where I want the storage name. I type for this scenario, I'll just type test just for it. We're not going to create it because I've one already done. Then I am very close to the Azure virtual. Now we'll put it's already in existence 2020. Okay, so now you take your location. I'm using the West Europe. Then I'm going for standard. Then you have the account kind. Now this tells you what kind of storage you want. I want a block storage. Then do you want a Joe? Now with Joe redundant storage in terms if you have it in several locations. For me, for this particular demonstration, I'm going to leave the local. Then I leave it at all, and I click on create. Once you click on create, it creates this storage account. So I said earlier, I've already created one. So I'll just go back to my storage account, which I've created. This is my storage account called the medical storage, because I'm trying to look into the medical industry and how I can use Azure Cognitive Search to drill down into the content there. Now, once I am there, the next thing is for you to upload those content. I've created a blog service. I've given my resource group to it. So you go to container. There are 2 ways you can do it. You can either download the Storage Explorer on your desktop, but with Azure now, you can have the same experience on Azure Portal, which I'm going to use. I'm just going to click on the Storage Explorer. Now the storage explorer will give me the block container. Now why you need the container is to be able to put all your content in one. All the unstructured content I'm going to upload, I got from Google, I'm going to upload it here. So I click on the block storage. Now I click on the medical record. Now the medical record gives me all the content I upload. How do I upload? Once you click on the content, let me quickly create a new one. Once you on the blog content, on the blog, you create a new blog. Now you name it, let me say test. I like using test, but Azure doesn't like capital letter. I want it to be private. Then if I have, once you click create, it create the blog account, and that's how I got to this point of the blog story. Now, the next thing is for me to upload my content. I just as the same way you upload your content, it first drill down to your file service on your desktop. It remotes into your local system. Then you click on your local system. I created all this file called medical record, and these are the records. I just got it from medical. I got diagrams, PDFs, and some content I got online. I just downloaded it and I upload it. When you click on it, you upload. Then because I have this already, I say overwrite it. Then let me just try and just put a Word document there. A Word document, testing for Azure. So I click it, select, open it, then upload. Now it's uploaded there. So once you have it, you have all the content that you want that is unstructured, and you have placed it on your Azure block storage. Now, the next thing we need to do is to create, we have our content ready, to create the Azure service, Azure Cognitive Search Service. Now, how do I go about it? I go to the same way. I go to my home. Then
hello, Sheyi. You need to stress the fact that they can upload any form of content, be it PDF, Word, text file, image, anything they upload in the blog file, the Azure Search will be able to pick up the data and still go through the content.
Yes, I just rightly, as you said, the Azure Search can pick any unstructured data, and that's where when I was doing my presentation, I said, irrespective of the format, Azure Search through the block service can pick it and can drill down into the content, have it cracked and properly structured and thrown into the search indexing. So, just as Deji said, it's important for everyone to know that's hearing us this morning that Azure Search is able to crack any content as long as it can be uploaded into the search indexing service. Now, the next thing we need to do is to create a cognitive search service. The same way you search, you try to search for cognitive service or search service. It will give you Azure Cognitive Service was Azure Search for, but it's not Azure Cognitive Service. Once you click on it, it takes you to the same way as I did with the blog service. You try to create it. Once you click create, it takes you to get some other information about the kind of search, the subscription you are going to use, the scale you are going to use. Now, if you have, it's loading, it knows the resource group. If you don't have one, you create one. For this instance, I'm going to use the one. If it's finished loading, I use the one I created, learn ROD, user learn resource group. Then it asks for the service name. You need to give it a name. What do you want to call your search? Let's say virtual Azure. That be my search. And if you notice, most of the content here will only work with lowercase. Please don't forget that. Azure, virtual Azure. And if you notice, it doesn't like space. So your content must be one word. Then where do I want to get my location from? I'm very close to West Europe. Then I have the standard pair, which gives you a 2G particular. Just for this demo, we're going to leave at that. Then you go to scaling. Now the scaling help you to determine the storage you have, what your indexing can contain, and how you can actually have specified availability. Microsoft is guaranteeing a 99.9% in terms of your search engine experience, and it helps to make the people experience also to be very, very great. So the next thing is the networking. Is it going to be public? Is it going to be private? Depending on how you want it to be, how you want people to search, or how many people, where are the people coming from? That's what determines it. So your networking determines who can have access and how they can have access. And that is drilling down to the endpoint. Then you can go to the tagging. If you have specific tag keywords that you want to tag this search to, you can actually add it there, especially for the custom development, if you want to have a custom development on your search engine. Then to review it, validate it, you can see it's properly validated, then you create. I'm not going to create this. I'll just go back to my home and go back to the one I created earlier called Covenant Tech Medical Search Services. Now, we have established that we have created our block storage. Now we are also created our search service. Now the next thing we need to do is to bring data into our search service. Now there are so many ways you can do it. You can do it when you run code and try to use Visual Studio to do it. But for this particular demonstration, I'm going to just be on the portal. Now I will go to my import data. That is a very good tool from Microsoft Search Services, where you can bring in any data wherever you are connecting that data from. Now, the next thing is to check, do you want to have a new data? Do you have an existing data? Now, where is your data storage is? Now, for me, it can either be on any storage, whether it's Azure SQL database, whether it's SQL Server on a VM that runs on Azure, or any private Azure farm, or a Cosmos DB, or a block storage. And for us here, we're actually using a block storage. Then it asks some certain data that is required for you to be able to create it. So what is the name of your source? You have to put this name there, medical records, because those are the files. And if you notice the same thing, be careful. I'm very used to making my words capital the beginning of every word. Then what do you want to extract? I want to extract the content and the metadata. Then person mode, let it be on default. Now, if you want to create a connection string, if you have already have a storage account, this is where you click on the existing string. And for me, the existing string is this, which I'm going to use under this. But because I have already created in the other one, and for this demo purpose, let me just choose the second one, which I've created earlier. Now, he asks me, where is my container? So the essence of every Azure storage, when you are using a block service, you must have a container where your content is actually residing. So let me just choose anyone here, just for this particular. It's upload container. Then you add your cognitive skill. Now this is where there is a demarcation between Microsoft Cognitive Search and a regular search. Yeah, some search has the ability to imbibe on using some AI skill, but for custom made or custom development, it's key for you to use the Azure skill to drill down, although it's optional, but it helps the people to have a better experience, leveraging the tool you have with the people experience. So it validates your provision, your record. It goes to the Azure Star, try to look at the schema, and once the validation is done, it takes you to the point where you add all the cognitive skill. Now, under cognitive skill, one thing you have to be careful of, whatever service you want to use must be in the same region that you have earlier added. Don't go beyond that. So for me, my service is on the West Europe, which I said is closer to me. And I will then choose West Europe. Then I want to attach some enrichment. Now, the enrichment gives the Azure Search the sense to use some of this skill that's embedded in Azure Cognitive Service. Now, I have several of them here. Now, for me, OCR is very important because almost all the content I have uploaded are content that are actually from pictures and from PDF. Pictures and PDF. So I need an OCS capability to be able to extract this content from cracking it from the PDF and bringing it either for me to be to arrange it properly, to arrange the content properly, to use a proper key phrase to be able to drill down to the content required at the right time. Then the next thing I need to do is to enrich it probably with the source field, or probably you have a specific pages times of the number. Then I need some other thing. Maybe I want to extract people name, maybe their celebrity, that industrial name, their staffs that there that is required when you are searching. Then the location of the name, the key phrase. I'll just pick on the text for cognitive service. Then if you have images, you pick on images. Then another enrichment that is very, very key, if you look at that diagram that I showed earlier, the knowledge store, where you have the archiving, where you can have a proper synergy in your knowledge base. And this is where Power BI resides. Power BI looks at your data and try to fish out from the analytics and try to bring out some information that is regulated to your requirements. So for this, the next thing you do after you have enriched it is to move to the next one, which is the target indexing. Now, I told you there's the indexer and there's the indexing. Indexer is the carriage, the car. Index is where you have all those things that you want that is properly categorized and is arranged properly. So once it moves to the indexer stage, but it's flagging something here. I've already have these blocks, so let me make it 3 so that we can move. So it's validating. It will take a while. Once it validates, it moves to the index. Then after it's properly indexed, you can now so index 3, make it 3 as I did before, but it has to be close to it. Then the path then you can actually edit here. Maybe there's some content you don't want to be searchable. There's a content that is privileged to certain category of people. Now, there's also translated text. If you have some content that is in another language, although I hope Microsoft can put language in Nigeria like Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. But unfortunately, what we can get here are language that has been rolled out, like Spanish, like French. And if you have such content in such language and you want to be able to extract the content, you can actually use the translated text and check it. For this, I'm just going to check all this and move because of our time, because Deji is right waiting for me to get to the point where he starts using his BI resource to do his own magic. Then the next thing is to create an indexer. Also, you need to create a name. You need to determine how frequent you want this content to be indexed, whether it is regular, whether it's hourly, whether it's daily. Now, this also depends on your resource and the timing. If you're in the part of the world like Nigeria or some other African country where you have very slim chance to have a very high-speed internet, it's better you have it structured to be done once in a day or once in a month, so that you know you have a collection of your content at the time, drill down at the time when you have availability of your internet service. So you click on submit, but I'm not going to go down there because I've already created one. And I just go back to my content. Then I will go and check the indexer. Now, under the indexer, I click on indexer. It shows me it was successful. My content was successful. The earlier one I did failed because I imported a video, and you have to also understand that there is size limit in terms to some content that are unstructured that is being uploaded into Azure Cognitive Service. So that's why it failed 15 hours ago. But the one I did, I removed the video and it went in. So this is the index 2 I created earlier. When you go into it, you drill down into it to see what you have there. You can actually try to search what for the extraction, it has been cracked. So maybe I want to get information on medical. Now, because most of the content you can see earlier, the content I uploaded is, if you look at it, those content are diabetes, medical record, medical show, medical record. These are PDF, these are pictures. I just upload it randomly. I didn't even check it, just to show you that Azure Cognitive Search can crack any content. Then you can now custom it into your own. But for this, it's just a raw one as I uploaded, and I'm doing the search. So let's see. Now, when you try to use the Search Explorer it's try to search into it, then now it gives me a score of 7.84. That means it was able to extract content that is there. Then you can see it even drill down to the chapter 2, where you have medical record. You can actually see all the content drilled down here. And this is what has been cracked and been indexed from the content I upload that's unstructured. It's something I didn't get from nowhere. It was not a document. You can just imagine what establishment that have proper digital content, and they want to use this kind of resources, and they want to be able to plan in terms of bidding, like manufacturing, just mechanical industry, medical hospitals. You can actually have a very structured content, custom this kind of content, and your doctor can drill down to content without having to waste time. With time, this can ease up in terms of the operational experience, operational efficiency. So you can see it tells me extra content that is there. And here, I can also, now, before I hand over to Deji, I like to also try to see there are several ways you can actually create the web interface. I want it to be very intuitive. Now, there is a particular, if you go to AKA MS, KMS Solutions, I think the AI team created some files on GitHub where you can actually create a web interface. But because of our time, I'm really running out of time. I'm going to use the one that is just embedded into Microsoft Portal. You can create an app. And when you create an app, you are saying you want to have the experience of the people to meet the near one where you can have a proper web interface. When you create on the create an app, is try to look at your broad index, try to create it, then it creates a file. But mind you, this can only be done as using it for your, probably for your internal engagement, or probably you want to see the way the search engine looks like, because for production, you have to confirm and we wait for many other write-off from Microsoft before you start doing that. So you have to, if you want to have a thumbnail, is it thumbnail of the content, or thumbnail of people, of location or language? I just use this for test. Then what are the content field? I select the key phrase here. Right. Then you go to the slider. What are the slider? How do you want the slider to look like? You want to select some field, you have to create one. Then you go to suggestion. Maybe every content that comes, you want it to suggest. Okay, what is the layer thing to it? Then you click the, once you create the demo app, it download a web file. And that web file, once you download it, you download it, you can use it for proper drilling down. This is the one I did earlier. So let me do the same search. This is a structured document that I'm not doing anything about. I just uploaded it on Azure Search. I have not properly synchronized it, but you can see it can give me medical. Now I search on medical. You can see here, it will show you the image. There was no image attached to the medical content I'm trying to ask there. When you drill down, it's structured and it arranged it in terms of key facing it properly. And drilling down all the content that is relating to document, to medical document, then it gives like this one, Washington, D.C. These are content I've not read. Okay, show me there is a diabetes quality of care. And this can be done with any content that is customized to your establishment and you want to have a better experience in terms of search, in terms of content build-up, and kind of content arrangement.
Thank you, Sheyi. I think we need to do a little around Power BI. You've taken the whole time.
Okay.
Hello, Sheyi, can you hear me?
Oh, the next thing we need to do now is to push it to Deji, where, although he just spoke now, where we look at the Power BI. And here, how do you get to the Power BI? You just go on the same wavelength of search traffic analytics. You configure it and you push it. So Deji, okay, you can take over from there.
Now there are two other things I want Sheyi to do for me quickly, still on this same page. So thank you very much, Sheyi, for taking the whole of my time. So let's go back to the Azure, please. Let me quickly do that because I have just 5 more minutes. Okay. Now, for you to be able to get detail around insights and log analytics, so you need to quickly configure two things. Please, can you just take me to insight and log by the side there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that is, please, I can't see. Can you help me read what you have there?
I have monitoring metrics.
Under monitoring, good.
Yeah.
So you'd quickly set up the setting there. Just click. Let's just see it, but don't go in depth so that they just know. So fine. From here, you set up the diagnostic setting that will help you pick anything that has to do with log, who entered, when did he enter, what did he do, and so many other details. You can also do the same thing around the fine. Now, at this point, you can select exactly what you want to track. So Sheyi, can you quickly help me read? The screen is dark. I can't see from here.
You have under the diagnosis setting, you actually have let me just change it from dark to light. Is it okay now?
Okay, better. So you have the operation log. You can check that. You have the metrics. You can check the analytics. So I can help you get all these analytics, and that is about what I want you to track for me. And once you get that one done, it keep log of all what that is happening, so I can get a deeper insight around this. Please, let's leave this. Can you go back? So let's go back. So let's now show how we can export a Power BI template. Azure has made life so easy. Once you are done with all your Azure search, you can actually export a template to Power BI. So please, can you just show, can you scroll down? So let's see. Thank you. Down. Where is it? Okay. Monitor your search metrics with Power BI. Now you can actually export a template that will make life very, very easy for you. At this point, it's very straightforward. So you can click and download that for us, so that we'll just use that to track what is going on.
Well, you know,
Sheyi, are you there?
this one, I've downloaded it.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go back to my slide. Let me run through my slide. I have 2 more minutes. If you download it, just let it start opening. No, Power BI will take time to load. Let it open. Okay, great. So the second, please go up. Up. Okay. So thank you. Now let's move on. I just search and Power BI. Move on to the next slide. Okay. So as I've said, connecting Power BI to your Azure Search Analytics storage is easy as ABC. Now let's move on to the next slide. So you can download the template as Sheyi has done. We are going to quickly take a look at the template now. Out from the template, you can actually go through your Power BI web service. So once you get there, just click on get data, and you're getting data from service. Move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So you click on Azure Cognitive Service. So click on the next slide. So when you select this, if this first time you are going to use it, you want to install it. So just click so I can install. So move on to the next slide. So these are what you see and what you check as you move on. So on getting to this point, you can actually connect your data. So move on to the next slide. When you click on connect your data, it needs just one information from you at this point. That's your storage account. So the storage account you have there, you dump it here. Once you dump in your storage account, and you can put the number of days you want it to track. I want to track just 30 days or 10 days. So it depends. By default, it will give you 10 days. You can go back as far back as 30 days. So click on next again. So at this point, you now provide your authentication method. So I would suggest you use key. When you use key, then we'll move on to the next slide. I think I captured that screen as well. Okay, great. So you just get your storage key and dump it there. Once you dump it there, so it gives you your dashboard. That is one. And number two, let's see what you downloaded. Can you quickly open Power BI? Let's see what you downloaded. Let's see what you downloaded, the template you downloaded. Can you help me open it up in Power BI? It's opening, right?
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay, great. So once you open the template will fire up and ask you for just sometimes 1 parameter, 2, 3 parameters. Once you supply those parameters from Azure, the next thing is it gives you a dashboard. And the dashboard, you can actually customize, edit it, add more features to it, let you do more things. You can even build lots of things around measures and so on and so forth. So basically, let's give room for question as this is loading because our time is up. So any question, please?
Awesome, thank you. And we're totally willing to give you a little bit more time there so that you didn't need to rush too much. But thank you for keeping time. That's all. That's always great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think there was one question that came in, JT, right?
Yeah, there was. The question is, the steps that were being shown for setting up Azure Search, is there a way to automate the processes in those screens using PowerShell, or is there a project running that we can use to automate a whole bunch of this setup in PowerShell, or does it all have to be done through the portal?
No. Let me just go to. There is a GitHub documentation that can answer that. Let me aka.ms. You can actually use other means like using Visual Studio and creating automation on that. But I actually streamlined because of time to use
The portal.
a portal to do that. So
Awesome.
If you could post those
we
links.
might grab the link and
okay,
post it.
I'll post the link on the chat. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
That would
Awesome.
be amazing. Thank you so much, both of you, for connecting with us today. And I really want to thank my co-host as well. JT is going to leave us. It's just going to be me from now on for the next 2 sessions. So I want to have a big round of virtual applause for our 2 speakers, of course, and for JT. And thank you for spending the better part of your morning and afternoon with me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you both for your awesome presentation just now. Loved it. I have to jump off, like Flor said, but I'm going to continue to watch on as an audience member.
Be here in spirit.
So JT, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
See you all after break.
Okay.
Bye.
I posted the link on the GitHub, so the sample is there. You can also use that to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.